Coming up, a Fargo teacher is fired after being accused of inappropriate behavior with students. Senator Kevin Cramer suffers a serious injury, how it happened, and how it could lead to amputation. And how an upgraded website is now making it easier to track registered sex offenders. Hello and welcome to the Nightly Review. I'm Tom Tucker. We begin with a look at tonight's headlines, then a closer look, with comments tonight from the top official at Fargo Hector International Airport, warning about delays in getting through security lines at the airport this summer. And in tonight's one-on-one conversation, what Fargo Cass Public Health is doing to address lower immunization rates among children and teenagers. But first, tonight, U.S. Senator Kevin Cramer suffered a serious injury to his right hand while working in his yard over the weekend. The injury required immediate surgery. Cramer remains in North Dakota close to medical care. He says there's a high risk of infection and it's possible a finger may have to be amputated. Cramer says he'll miss votes and hearings this week, but anticipates returning to Washington after July 4th. Cramer says he anticipates, quote, doling out a lot of left-handed fist bumps. The Fargo School Board is discharging teacher Kevin Kennedy with cause. The decision comes after more than 10 hours in executive session. Kennedy taught English and theater arts. An investigation was opened after the district received a complaint in March that Kennedy was creating an uncomfortable learning environment and had, quote, crossed boundaries with students. Kennedy had been suspended without pay since April. Sanford Health will be providing COVID shots for children ages 6 months to 4 years old beginning this Friday. The hospital will offer the Pfizer BioNTech shot as a 3-dose series. The first 2 shots are administered 3 to 8 weeks apart, and the third is given at least 8 weeks after the second dose. Essentia is also offering the shots to children. Storm cleanup efforts in Lakes Country are expected to take weeks. Rain and heavy winds ripped through Otter Tail County Monday night, flipping boats, downing trees, and tearing roofs off businesses and homes. The Otter Tail County Sheriff's Office says deputies evacuated the Otter Lodge during the storm, which tore the roof off the building and caused heavy cosmetic damage. A girl riding a bike is seriously injured after being struck by a road maintenance machine in Valley City. The collision happened late yesterday morning north of Jefferson Elementary School. The road maintenance roller was being operated by a city employee at the time of the accident. The girl has non-life-threatening injuries. Newly re-elected Fargo Park Board member Joe Deutsch says maintaining an iconic city park is at the top of his priority list.
You know, one of the most important things I heard and learned during this campaign period is that, you know, Island Park is one of the most important places in this community to anybody of any generation.
Deutsch says Island Park will be seeing some changes under the master plan, including the reconstruction of the pool, the community theater, and a possible relocation of the tennis courts. After the summer, the pool will be closed for a year for upgrades. Deutsch says the pool will not be moved to another location at Island Park. North Dakota's sex offender registry site is now upgraded. Attorney General Drew Wrigley says updates have been made to the old site that will make it easier for the public to find information about offenders regardless of risk level. Photos of all offenders are now available. Citizens are also able to sign up to receive notifications about any sex offender. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz is expected to call for an increase in proposed tax rebate checks. The governor is expected to appeal directly to taxpayers with his plan to issue rebates from the state's record budget surplus. Walz says negotiations with lawmakers over the issue have broken down. We're told the governor wants to return half of the state's projected $9 billion budget surplus to the people. That would be enough to provide $2,000 to married filers and $1,000 to single tax filers. Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison is vowing to defend travelers who come to the state for abortions if Roe v. Wade is overturned. Ellison says Minnesota will be prepared to defend patients who come to Minnesota from states that outlaw abortion. Ellison says he'll reject extradition requests and fight other states in court if needed. In South Dakota tonight, Jason Ravnsborg is out as Attorney General. The state Senate convicted Ravnsborg on 2 articles of impeachment. The charges accuse the 46-year-old Republican of lying to law enforcement and abusing his office after Ravnsborg struck and killed a pedestrian in 2020. This was the first impeachment trial in the state's history. Roundsburg is also barred from holding public office in the state in the future. In a closer look tonight, if you are flying out of Fargo Hector International Airport in July, you might want to plan on arriving at the airport a bit earlier than normal.
The Transportation Security Administration notified us a few months ago that they were going to replace the 2 X-ray units that are in our security checkpoint now and then add a third one. So we go to a 3-lane operation instead of a 2-lane operation.
Executive Director of the Fargo Airport Authority, Sean Doberstein, says work will begin July 5th and should wrap up around the 22nd. Doberstein says the improvements should eventually lead to faster processing at airport security.
We've already moved the walls out at the checkpoint, so if you come through Hector now, you'll notice that the walls at the checkpoint have been moved out or expanded to accommodate the 3 new scanners that the TSA contractor will be putting in starting on July 5th.
Doberstein says the construction may cause longer waiting periods, but the airport's main concern is passenger safety. We're told the new scanning equipment will create clear images of what's inside luggage and will be able to automatically detect explosives, including liquids. The scanner captures hundreds of images with an X-ray camera spinning around the conveyor belt. Well, if you find the Nightly Review to be a great source for news and information in the FM Metro, please take a minute to subscribe to this channel and hit the bell button below. A very nice day for us to enjoy today across the Red River Valley, maybe a little bit hotter in the afternoon, but is even warmer weather on the way. Meteorologist Justin Storm is in the Skywatch Weather Center with a look at the forecast.
Thanks, Tom. As we head through this evening into tonight, mostly clear skies are going to continue across the area with lows only in the mid-60s, with a west wind switching out of the south around 5 to 15 miles per hour. We hang on to that light wind on Thursday, but heat and humidity will be returning to the valley with partly cloudy skies, highs near 94 degrees. We will see a slight chance for some strong thunderstorms into Thursday night, but a better chance will come into the later afternoon on Friday with highs in the lower 90s.
You can spark hope for others. Now through June 30th, lighten the load of neighbors in crisis with a gift of $10 or more to the Lend a Hand Up Summer Boost campaign. All gifts will be distributed to boost help for local families, and the first 100 donors will receive a gift card to Star Fireworks. Learn more and give to the Summer Boost at lendahandup.org.
Lend a hand up.
Lend a Hand Up is community powered and guided by Dakota Medical Foundation.
Welcome back to the Nightly Review. My guest for tonight's one-on-one conversation is Rachel Johnson, Public Health Nurse Manager for Fargo Cass Public Health. She says statewide immunization rates for children and teens are on the, quote, lower side. And to help address that and to make sure area students have their required shots to attend school in the fall, Fargo Cass Public Health is offering summer immunization clinics. I asked Johnson for details on the clinics happening in Fargo.
Sure, yes. So we've reached out to West Acres Mall to see if they'd have room and space for us. And dates happen to line up. So we'll be out at West Acres next week, Tuesday, June 28th from 10 to 2, right off the front entrance by the food court. And there will be signage. So if you can't find us, that's watch for the signage. But we just wanted to kind of get started, get everybody thinking about their school immunizations. We get reports from the North Dakota Department of Health that our rates are a little bit on the lower side, not just Fargo, but the whole state. So the sooner we can get people thinking about it, the better. And besides the West Acres clinic, we will do in-clinic walk-in walk-ins August 17th and 18th.
So what are the required immunizations for school kids? I know children are required to have certain shots by a certain time or age. Can you elaborate on that?
Sure. So in kindergarten, you should have 5 DTaps or tetanus, diphtheria, pertussis, 4 polios. You're testing my memory here. 3 hepatitis, and there is one more, Hib, which is a hemophilia influenza vaccination. So the goal is by the time you enter kindergarten, you've gotten all of those vaccinations. And then once you move into junior high and high school, there's a whole nother set of required. That's when you lean more onto your tetanus and meningitis. We also highly recommend the HPV, so that will be offered at the West Acres clinic as well.
Rachel, since the arrival of COVID-19, there has been a slowdown in child immunizations across the state and around the country. Any input on why that's happening?
So, of course, I can only assume it's not lack of, but we were told to stay home, right? Stay home unless you're sick, and especially if you're sick. So I think people just didn't go to their primary care appointments as frequently as they probably should have, as the recommended scheduling should have been. So yeah, is that the reason? I can only assume, but yeah, we've had some lower numbers.
And I'd like to thank Fargo Cass Public Health Nurse Manager Rachel Johnson for joining me for tonight's one-on-one conversation. You can find the entire interview with Johnson, along with dates and locations for the upcoming immunization clinics, online at WDAYradionow.com. The first clinic happens this coming Tuesday from 10 o'clock in the morning until 2 in the afternoon at West Acres Mall. Well, that will do it for this Wednesday night, June 22nd, 2022. I'm Tom Tucker. Thanks for watching the Nightly Review.